Y'all know what it is. Y'all know who it is. It's your boy Pharaoh the God, always on the job. I got five. Let's talk. Welcome to another episode of I Got Five. Where I messed up. Welcome to another episode where we keep it fair as a California bear. We ain't California raisins. We ain't doing no hating. I appreciate everybody that's been rocking with the platform, rocking with the podcast, giving ideas, but more so to those that really indulge, you know what I'm saying, in the comments, support the channel and support the movement. I definitely appreciate y'all. I'm not never going to say it enough. I'm not monetized, so the interaction means more to me because I'm not getting paid for this. You feel me? I'm not trying to, if it does, it does. But I've been doing this for years without getting paid, and it don't bother me none. But I do support, I do appreciate the support, the likes, the shares, the subscribes, the indulgence, because that's what we here for. We not here to have, one like-minded, and even if that is, we are open to discussion. You know what I'm saying? My mods, myself, my collaborators. So yeah, man, I definitely appreciate y'all, man, more than anything, more than what y'all really think. I've been running the kind of like the Dr. King report, but the reason why I didn't want to call it like the Dr. King's report is I didn't want to put him in the category of, we done did the big meets, you know what I'm saying? But that is kind of like my thing though, the report, who on the report, Dr. King report, the big meets report. So I might be changing it, but this is part 3, part 4. Part 3, I didn't entail it, but the one I did earlier today about the violence, it gotta stop, bro. It gotta stop. And the big homies that's in them hoods, that's controlling them hoods or has say so and recognition in them hoods, man, y'all gotta tell them little niggas though that, man, some of that shit is off limits. Some things that they do just it just ain't fly, man. And they need to know that. They really do. I gotta get ready. Roll me up a good one real quick. But what is the outlook of Dr. Martin Luther King? That's what we trying to, or what I'm trying to like explain, or my assessment of the outlook of Dr. Martin Luther King. He was nonviolent. But have we been taught everything we're supposed to be taught about Dr. King? What about his push against white liberalism? What about his push against the military, capitalism that thrives off of the rich getting rich and the poor getting poorer? Meaning that if the rich gotta eat the rich, it's a dog-eat-dog world. That's what capitalism is. And what about Dr. King specifically targeting out the treatment of black folks? He wasn't saying nobody else was being treated like this. He wasn't saying nobody else was being mistreated. What he said was that I have a dream that one day little black girls be together and they can go. He had a dream that one day we can all get along. That was his dream, but what about his message? Dream of that day. Because I'm not going to sit up here and say all black people are bad or all black people are good. It's good and bad in everything. So I can't wait till the day to see little black boys and little white girls and little Mexican boys. You feel me? Just playing without the sense of colorism. I dream of that day. Muslim. I have to believe in that day, right? You know what I mean? Like, I have to believe in that. So, what's wrong? Was that a farce? You gotta dream big. What they say, shoot for the universe. So when you fall, you can hit amongst the stars, right? People want to blame King for dreaming. Ain't that what we all trying to get to? Where little black boys and little black girls is not being, treated unfairly due to they skin color or where they grew up at. Ain't this the lifestyle we want to see? That was the dream. And like I say, we all dream, but the cold reality is it barely might happen. And I think that's what a lot of people fail to realize about Dr. Martin Luther King, that we keep pushing his dream and not his policy. Because they'll tell you that his dream is non-violent, this, that, and the third, but what about him fighting against military? What about him fighting against white liberalism? What about him fighting against unfair justice about how black people were being treated? These aren't things that he was fighting for or trying to bring recognition for everybody. He was saying, you leaving the black people out, and we gonna stand on it. Ain't that what he did? He stood on it. The outlook of Dr. Martin Luther King has actually been lost. Dr. King his message has just been lost because everybody wants you to think that he's just about non-violence. Oh, Dr. King, non-violence this, Dr. King, non-violent that. But what about the real of what he believed in? Injustice, shit like that. My bad, my bad. I was doing something, and kind of noise in the background. But what about the teachings of Martin Luther King Jr.? What he stood for? Let me give me a lighter too, man. My bad, y'all. Get right into it. Give me a sit nine again. If you just pull up what Dr. King believed in, it's gonna be more than what you think. Oh, non-violence, standing against oppression. But there was a speech that he had that became quite famous, the I Have a Dream speech. And we all know that speech, I have a dream. You know, the same speech I was just talking about right now, right? But I want to play this content for you. And this is out of his own words, his own mouth. This is how Dr. King felt about what he had, about the same speech he had. So, again, this is not my content, and I'm not taking or twisting his words, but this is what he had to say about how he felt about what he believed.
I have a dream today. I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, I'm not one to lose hope. I keep on hoping. I still have faith in the future. But I've had to analyze many things over the last few years, and I would say over the last few months. I've gone through a lot of soul-searching and agonizing moments. And I've come to see that we have many more difficult days ahead, and some of the old optimism was a little superficial, and now it must be tempered with a solid realism. I have a dream today. I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, I'm not one to...
Turned into a nightmare. And you see, this was in 67. This was 2 years before Malcolm X was killed. Two full years. Malcolm was killed February, I think, 69. Hey Siri, what year was Malcolm X assassinated? Yep, February. Oh, my bad. 2 years after Malcolm passed away. Two years after Malcolm's death, he's starting to have doubts of his own movement. We seen before him and Malcolm could get together, they assassinated Malcolm. They didn't want Malcolm, as they would put it, infest Dr. King. 2 years later, Dr. King starts to see the same thing that Malcolm X seen. Relying on someone else to tell me when to go and how to operate is limiting me. The outlook of Martin Luther King was the same outlook of Malcolm X. Malcolm said, I believe that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, may Allah be pleased with him, he said that I still believe that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has the best way for the black man in America. But I believe that I could help him more proficiently outside of the Nation of Islam. These is Malcolm words, not mine. And you hear Martin said that I have a dream. That dream I had turned into a nightmare. So that same belief system, that same core that they were looking up to, in some way buffooned them. Whether you want to call it that or not. Whether on the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's tip, you had those that were dealing drugs coming into the Nation of Islam with diamond and gold buckles on their shoes, diamond cuff links, linked to heroin organizations. He saw that and said, you know what? It's people like y'all that's stopping me from really doing what I need to do, so I'm going to leave. The same ones that was trying to give Malcolm X, the same ones that was trying to give Martin Luther King the power, the same thing that was giving Martin Luther King the power is the same thing he had to go against. This is the outlook. This is my assessment. It's not helicopter right here. Wouldn't be LA without the helicopter in the skyline. But Martin Luther King ended up having the same outlook about the agenda as Malcolm did. The outcome was the difference. The outcome was the same. They were both assassinated. The only difference is one preached nonviolence, and he ended up seeing that was destroying him. His right-hand man, what's his name? Wyatt Baker, the chairman of the SCLC, the one that published the letters from Birmingham. He even said they was duped. So if the right-hand man is saying it, he had to exercise that belief to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He had to. Whether it was in a friendly manner, like, hey, look, man, being non-violent, it ain't working. You see, they still violent towards us. They treating us bad. X, Y, and the third. Or it could have just been that Brother Martin ended up just seeing it for himself. And this is why he said this.
Lose hope.
I have a dream today.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, I'm not one to lose hope. I keep on hoping. I still have faith in the future. But I've had to analyze many things over the last few years, and I would say over the last few months. I've gone through a lot of soul-searching and agonizing moments. And I've come to see that we have many more difficult days ahead.
He said he did a lot of soul searching. He did a lot of soul searching. So what that mean? You soul searching when you looking for answers. You soul searching when something you still look, something is not going right to what you're doing. the way I'm going about it must be wrong. It must be wrong. You have to remember, prior to the Black Panthers being around, you had Stokely Carmichael of the SNCC organization, the SNCC. Who started, it was either Power to the People or the Picture of the Panther. He is the originator of one of the two. Dr. King's organization, SCLC, had close ties to the SNCC organization, which was a little bit more militant, which in due time broke away or parted ways with the SCLC and Dr. Martin Luther King because they choose to continue to be nonviolent. King saw militant people around him dilapidating, leaving, removing themselves. He also seen these leaders being attacked.
And some of the old optimism was a little superficial, and now it must be tempered with a solid realism.
Una hoja de bounty contra una hoja de la competencia.
Can't play that.
We've got to give ourselves to this struggle until the end. Nothing would be more tragic than to stop at this point in Memphis. I want to thank God once more for allowing me to be here with you. I left Atlanta this morning and then I got into Memphis. And some began to say the threats, or talk about the threats that were out. What would happen to me from some of our sick white brothers? Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead.
Mind you, he calling them sick white brothers. Starting to sound a little bit like Malcolm. And if I could tune in on that vibration, I know those that scared tuned in. Finish running this content.
But it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to.
Why is he saying I might not get there with you? Why is he saying that? Something got to be changing. Somewhere, someone is threatening his life. Even though he's doing and done everything that white man asked about him. He called him the wicked white brother. These are his words, not mine.
The promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the
say which wicked white brother. He said by the hands of our wicked white brother. Is he possibly talking about the race here? Let's not forget this part of Martin Luther King. They want you to drown out this part of him, his legacy. Don't let them do it. They have tried, and they gonna keep trying. They gonna keep trying. And you should ask yourself, if Dr. Martin Luther King was killed for pushing nonviolence and just wanting certain rights he had coming, and they killed him for it, you think anything has changed today? If they killed Malcolm for spreading non-violence, this is what they want us to remember him by. Okay, let's remember him. He was killed for preaching non-violence. Why would you kill a man for preaching non-violence? Why wouldn't you kill members of the Nation of Islam? Why wouldn't you kill members of the Deacons? Why wouldn't you kill members of the SNCC? Excuse me. Why we remembering Dr. Martin Luther King for what you want us to remember him by? His wicked white brother? He was killed for non-violence. And this should be, Dr. Martin Luther King should be a warning to each and every one of us in America. And look what they doing now to the Hispanic community. Distrust. Running the play. Running the play. Let me know what y'all think, man. Hit that like button. You don't say nothing. Okay. Okay. I'm bad, y'all. Putting this shot here real quick. Let me know what y'all think, man. How do y'all perceive and look at Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? Let me know how y'all feel, man. And let me know why y'all feel like that as well. Like, not just because, you know, or I don't know, just I feel different. Share your thoughts. Don't be scared. It's an open platform, man. We open. We welcome everybody in their way of thoughts. So tap in, man. Let us know what you think. Like, I feel like we just been having a misperception of Dr. King, not the full picture. It's just like the same thing when you ask somebody about black people. They be like, oh, they're lazy and they're this. But what about the black people that, you know what I'm saying? Like they're different. Black people that invented everything. How do you become lazy when you have that in your blood? Maybe the opportunity just ain't there. That's what it is. Or I could be tripping. Because we all know, we can look around the job site and see that it's disproportionate. And then when somebody points it out, they say, well, you know, black people are lazy. They don't be wanting to work. They be coming late. Well, who? They the only one coming to work in this motherfucking late? Like, let's be real. This is what King had to realize. That you, like, okay, you getting this right on paper. Everything look good on paper. But then, what you ain't putting down on paper is you firing black people. Saying that they underqualified or overqualified for the job. What makes a motherfucker overqualified for a job? They just don't want to hire you. Dr. King has seen more violence against his life physically. Dr. King has seen more violence against his life than Malcolm X. He been stabbed in the heart by a white person. He was assassinated by a white person. He's seen more violence than Malcolm. For what reason, though? He's Christian. A white religion. He's non-violent. What white people preached. Sometimes people have to go through the experience to see that what I'm rocking with right now, it just ain't the one. It's like being in a relationship. You love her, he love you, whatever you think it is, but then you start to see the change in you. The same thing with Dr. King. He started to see the change. He started to see what these people really are. He looked at these people for what they really were. Evil white brothers. It's not my word. It's his words. See, when you try to cover up something so bad, you expose yourself. You put out there that Dr. King preached nonviolence. And that's why he was assassinated. It don't make sense. Why would a person kill somebody for nonviolence? How can you arbitrate, and for those that don't know what arbitrate means, it means like discuss, talk, dialogue about. How can I arbitrate violence against nonviolence? We see two things here that that Martin did. Two things. One that he did, he said that I have a dream speech. He realized now it's a nightmare. Then he says, and I quote, he calls white people our wicked white brother, and he don't care about dying no more. Some people might say, well, P, that's only 2 strikes. You forget about when he talked to Malcolm X? You see the bond in the pictures that him and Malcolm X had? And then 2 years later, after Malcolm is killed, you have King talking about wicked white brothers. My dreams became a nightmare. Oh, they wasn't finna let him get further than that. Hey, shout out to TNC, man. Appreciate the indulgence in the comments, man. You know, Dr. King's legacy has been misconstrued. I'm not a man of nonviolence. I do not preach nonviolence. But even though Dr. King, that was his approach, and like I say, some people just got the knack. Look, man, why you ain't with nonviolence? I've been through too much. I seen the fuckery. I experienced the fuckery. I'm not with that shit. I know when people get an inch over you, they run you down like a mile. I know that. But to a person that grew up sharecropping underneath the power of the grandchildren of slave masters, it was embedded in him to be nonviolent. It was instilled in him to be nonviolent. But now I'm out in the world and I'm seeing shit and I'm hearing people talk. It's a little difference. See, a person has to go through shit. A person has to land in shit. I gotta smell like shit. Be in a real city situation, knee deep in some shit. In order to say, you know what? That shit's not him. That ain't him. That is not him, bro. And then you do a 180. That 180 is what Martin was about to turn around into. That's what got him killed. Because let me ask you this. If Dr. Martin Luther King said his dream was a nightmare, right? do you think he was gonna continue in a non-violent protest? And I'm not saying some of y'all might say he may have would have got violent. I just want to hear what people got to say, because you have to find a new solution. I've been lied to. They lied to me. They told me this was, and this, you have to imagine Dr. King having a front row seat in all the trickery. Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, you know, all these people, the female lady Gresham. You got to think of all these people they was having around him. We know now that they was all sellouts. We know Reverend Al Sharpton was snitching on the mob. He wasn't, okay, nigga, you snitching on the mob, but nigga, what about you being a criminal for the blacks then? It's different. And I'm not accepting that. Martin Luther King saw these niggas was on bullshit and was like, you know what? I'm not down with this, bro. I'm out of here. What'd you say, sister?
Just say hi, I love you.
Oh, hey, I love you too. He was saying he wasn't down with it.
Hi, nephew.
Like everything that you niggas are saying is just nigga
Going back to work.
not true.
Okay.
Me too.
Not true at all. You niggas is doing what? Nigga, I'm out of here. Say less. That's my assessment, though, man, of, you know, the outlook of him. Let's not forget what he endured. Violence against his life. I believe he was a revolutionary, man, and one that was gonna change his way of thinking. That could have became a big problem for his white counterparts. And with that being said, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I appreciate y'all for hitting that like button. I appreciate, shout out my boy, whoever that is, TNC, for indulging with the comments, man. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend. Spin the block, man. This is where it's at. Y'all know the motto, man. Take care of each other. And if you can't do that, take care of your motherfuckers.